Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show.
Okay, before we start this episode, I just want to give a little bit of a warning that obviously what is about to be spoken about is involving some bullying, it's involving some sexual violence, and obviously suicide. And we just want to give a warning to anyone ahead who may be triggered or traumatized by these, that this may be an episode that you may want to avoid, but we do think this is a very important one. So thank you.
Cheers!
Cheers.
And welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And who do we have with us today?
Leah Parsons.
Leah Parsons. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We, as you may have heard in the start of the episode, this is a bit of a one of our more serious topics to talk about, but I think it's a very important one.
Absolutely. So Thank you so much for joining us. The purpose of this show is to is empathy, awareness, and prevention, right? Those are the things that Matt and I care about a lot. I think Rehtaeh Parsons is a name that's known in Nova Scotia, right? Yeah. Not for great reason. And and is it correct to say it's been about 12 years since she passed away?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
No. I just kind of want to go back a bit and tell the story of who she was as a kid. There's a great documentary on Prime. It's actually there right now on today that you can watch about this too as a companion to this if you like. But a bit about her as a kid growing up and stuff.
Yeah, so Rehtaeh, actually, we spent a lot of time right in Clayton Park. The first 5 years of her life. So Rehtaeh was my firstborn child. I came up with her name when I was 14 years old. Didn't have her at 14, obviously. She had the big heart. Loved animals, huge compassion. If she saw anyone like digging in a dumpster or anything like that, she would get very emotional. She would be upset. As she grew up, we moved to Dartmouth, to Cole Harbour, when she started school. That's where she was raised, and she met friends there. She was I'd say she was pretty quiet at first until you got to know her, but she had the same friend group. She just had a really huge heart. She was artistic. She was a bookworm. She loved to read.
And I saw, there's a lot of marine biology in her life. You think she might want to have been like a marine biologist someday, or is that something she might have been aspiring to?
Yeah, she actually went in grade 9 to Dalhousie to speak to a professor to see what she'd need to do in order to get into the marine biology program.
Oh, cool. There you go. Right on. Yeah. So it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, love for animals, which does line in very nicely with what you're doing now, which makes a lot of sense. I guess we can give I don't know if you want to do a quick...
No, I was just going to kind of continue there. What do you miss most about her?
What do I miss most about her? Ooh, that's a good question.
Sorry, that's a tough one. I know.
Yeah.
That's I'm sorry, let me reframe that.
Yeah.
What's one of the things you really miss about Rehtaeh?
Just the day-to-day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just having your life every day.
Just seeing your child each day, interacting.
Yeah,
she had big plans, big goals.
Yeah,
and everything was kind of just taken away from her. And was do you think it all happened so fast that you never would have seen it coming, or like?
No, I think everything changed for her pretty dramatically in one night, which shifted her whole mental health into a downward spiral, but she fought hard to stay here for 17 months. That's a long time to fight for your life, really, because that's what she was doing. And so 17 months, she tried to get back up over and over and over again, and she couldn't.
Wow. Yeah, it's tough. I can, I have a 4-year-old, and I often take time to think about what he's going to be, right? As a teenager, as an adult. And
for sure.
Couldn't imagine. Yeah. You take for granted that your kid's just going to get old.
Oh, absolutely. And then your whole perspective on life changes in a good way, really. After, I mean, nothing good about it, but after your child dies, all the little things, they just don't matter anymore.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Big picture, I'm always saying, what's the big picture here? This doesn't matter.
Yeah. Change that whole perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know your occupation. You're a therapist now?
I'm a therapist.
And were you a therapist before Rehtaeh passed away?
So Rehtaeh was the reason I went to university.
Okay.
I promised her the day she was born that I would go back to school and get an education. So I went back, and she came with me. We went to the Mount first. She went to the daycare there. She was just a little girl, and I did my undergrad in psychology, and then I went on to do a master's degree. And yeah, she was there with me. I'd have my lunches with her. She'd come to the university every day. The Mount was great for that. But she's the reason I went to and get my education. Yeah.
What like if so she went with you, so she was obviously in daycare, so she was young.
Yeah.
What drew you to that? Like to go and to become a counselor or to a therapist?
I have been interested in human behavior my whole life.
Okay.
Always trying to figure out myself, always reading books. I had my own traumas in my youth. And when I moved to the States and became a bartender, I found people fascinating, how they came into the bar, how they acted after a few drinks. I just found people watching and studying human behavior fascinating.
Yeah, we did kind of joke about that when we were setting up here, that, a bartender was kind of your introductory to counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of things do you help with today with counseling?
Today I usually help people with different types of trauma. Mm-hmm. Yeah, grief, trauma. I do a lot of spiritual counseling too, not necessarily religious counseling, but I do like whatever that means to the person, whether that's your inner knowing, your higher self, whether that's something outside yourself. I do focus a lot on that too, because I believe that the mind, the body, and the spirit are
kind of just soul searching.
Yeah, you have to kind of thread those in.
So allegedly, the sexual assault happened in November 2011, right? And then what happened, for people that don't know, I'm sure so many people heard this story, but, a photo spread digitally on different social media platforms. And she passed away in April 2013. Investigation, there were later charges dropped due to the disturbing images that were online, and just a terrible incident. It just seems like a society somewhere really failed her. A kid probably with tremendous potential. Yeah, kid that could probably have just went on to, maybe marine biologist. You never know. Kids change their mind a lot, but they could have been a million different things if they were here today, right?
Yeah, so I guess maybe walk for anyone who hasn't heard this story, maybe walk us through some of the facts from your perspective of everything that kind of transpired in that timeline.
Yeah, so Rehtaeh went to high school, so she left junior high. She was 15. Yep. Started at high school, so, meeting new friends, meeting new people that first year. And so this was September of 2011, and she had met a new friend that in the September, and she started hanging around with her. She lived in just one community over, I'd say, not far, Eastern Passage. So she wanted to have a sleepover with her. And I spoke to the mom, and she said yes, she could have a sleepover, no problem. And that night, her and her friend went to a home. On that Saturday, her and her friend went to a home where two brothers lived. And so they started drinking alcohol. And then two other males showed up later. So there's 4 males, 2 females. She got so drunk she couldn't even stand up. Her friend that was there with her left. So she never made it to her friend's home for the sleepover. So there was 4 males, 1 Rehtaeh. So the 2 males upstairs, first they raped her, and one took a photo of her while she was throwing up out a window. And he was raping her from behind, and the other male took a photo of that act. And then they moved her from that room to the bedroom downstairs where the other two males then raped her. And so she woke up the next day. I didn't know right away, probably a few days. And then she's, kind of saying a few things, but not really telling me much. And then I was on a call for work, and my sister said, "You got to get home right now." It was like 10 o'clock at night, and she was there with her, and she said, "Rehtaeh is not okay." And so I rushed home. I was up in Bears Lake, rushed back to Cole Harbor. She was curled up in the ball on my kitchen floor, rocking herself in a fetal position. And she just kept saying, "My life is over."
Wow.
And they're not going to let me live this down. They're not going to leave me alone. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then she told me what had happened, and that there was a photo, and she didn't know what to do. And the photo showed up at school, and people started saying things to her. And so she left. We went to the police the next day and gave our statement, all of that. And I thought, I went into like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. I know what we need to do to get you the help. They're going to get arrested. The photo will be contained. Don't worry. It'll be okay. So right from the get-go, the police report, they didn't do the police investigation properly. Apparently I wasn't supposed to be in the room. She wasn't supposed to write it down. She's supposed to record it. She wrote it down handwriting, and then she had to do another statement another time with another unit. It was just, she went from the RCMP, then it was the regional police, and then, so that was that. And then they were supposed to go to the school and then contain the photo. None of that happened. In the meantime, I had to switch schools for her almost immediately to get her out of there, because she was just totally panic-ridden, anxiety-ridden. Of course. Everywhere she went, people were talking and texting her. And once the police got involved, one of the males texted her and said, are you okay? I heard you're going to the police. Are you okay with everything that happened? And she said, "It's cool." So they used that against her.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So they said that she said it was cool. And so here I'm dealing with the police saying, like, you can't consent after the fact. Like, this isn't, what are you saying?
Yeah.
This is not. And so the police investigation went on, and I was calling often. The school, and then the mental health IWK, she put herself in there probably 6 months later, I would say, because she was terrified of her thoughts. She said, "I'm having these horrible thoughts. I'm having suicidal thoughts. I'm not going to act on them, but I'm terrified."
Yeah.
And so she said, "I need help." So she went there and was traumatized there. She threatened to harm herself, and they stripped her naked and put her in a room. 2 men stripped her naked, 2 guards, and put her in a room.
Which was probably like a PTSD type of triggering type of thing, right? Yeah.
So all of these things this is happening from, the school, her peers, and then the police and the mental health, like all of the systems that are set up to help her were not helping her. So this went on for 17 months with zero accountability. And then they closed the case and said it wasn't child pornography because they couldn't see her face in the photo.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah. And that she is under the age, but you can't really tell in the photo. I'm like, but she is underage.
Yeah.
And it is my child. And then he ended up saying to me, this was the head of the investigation unit, because I kept going up higher, that it was a community issue and not a police issue, and we're closing the file.
Whoa.
God.
Yeah, so that's...
What, like, a community issue? I mean, what does that even mean?
It means they don't know what to do with the case, and they're going to just
just let vigilantism happen, I guess. Like I don't even know what that fully means, right?
The Independent Seal did review and findings, right?
Yep.
And they found a slow, fragmented response across police, school, and health systems. They had made 17 recommendations through the government of Nova Scotia. Like, unbelievable. Like, I mean, you just kind of really explained, what I was going to ask you next about systems and where they failed. Looking at the way things were at that time and the way things are now, I know this is a big kind of shift here, but, has anything changed for the better? Have things, as the attention from the media that this got helped at all, or is it pretty much just...
I think it helped a lot at the grassroots level, at the community levels. I should say that if a photo showed up in a school now, there'd be something done about it immediately. So in that way, I would say yes. Something would be done immediately if a photo showed up. They wouldn't allow that to happen, what happened to her.
Right.
Just to touch on that before we move on from the photo stuff and with social media, though. This is we're talking 14 years, 13-ish years ago. Technology has changed so much. Where they didn't have Snapchat back then when things disappeared like they do. Like, is that anything that you guys are attacking when it comes to that type of stuff, like trying to address those types of things?
Well, we are there. There is a group of us moms who are trying to advocate for laws for social media platforms to be accountable for what shows up, whether it's Snap or Instagram, Facebook. Any of those platforms need to be held accountable for what goes on their platforms.
Yeah.
So these Fight Nova Scotia, where there's young kids fighting each other, and it's an actual page on Instagram.
Is that still an active page?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Jeez.
Yeah. My youngest daughter was jumped.
Yeah.
And it was on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some videos and stuff like that of where they show it and it's like people get attacked and it's like their entertainment kind of thing, which is completely mind-boggling to me because that was not the case growing up for me. Like, people squared off, you got permission, and you sometimes walked 15 to 20 minutes away from the school to go duke it out two individuals, right? Yeah.
And then they turn on the person that's the victim.
Right.
They turn it on them like, oh, is this you getting beat up by 5 people? You think that that's something to brag about? That 5 people jumped one person?
Right. And
that person should be ashamed of themselves?
Yeah.
For being jumped by 5 people? It's very twisted what they find, what young people are finding entertaining and what they use it for. What they use it to use against the victim. To jump in to get some sort of ego boost that they're part of, I don't know, harming somebody. I don't. It's a little still baffling to me.
And I know, just sticking to the social media thing just for a minute, just to stay on point, is we talked to earlier about some of the recommendations. I mentioned that there is something coming forward that's going to be put in the legislature this month in September that is requiring people to be 16 years of age in order to even have social media. And I know you had some opinions on that, whether that would work or not.
I don't think that's the answer at all. I mean, digital, we're in a digital age. Banning it from children 16 and under, I just don't think that's going to work. They just lie anyways about their age to get on. They'll find a way to get on. To me, the answer is holding these big social media platforms accountable, because 16, you can just just pretend you can put dates in there. How are they going to know if you're of age? And I just don't think that's going to work. I don't see how that's going to work.
How do we hold them accountable? Like the metas of the world?
Well, they know how to filter things. Obviously, they're really good at saying that you violated this or you violated that, and you're not allowed, so they obviously have a really good filtering system. So they could filter out violence against children and filming these things and sexual content that's being shared online. And if they don't, then if they let that through, then they would have to pay a hefty fine. I mean, people would report it. So it'd be easy enough to say, oh, look, they let it through. And yeah, like I said, they know how to filter things out. Because if you say the wrong thing, you're banned for 5 days.
Right.
I just want to go back to some of the law and policy changes, right? So some of the bills that were introduced over the last 12 years, I really want to know if they have an impact, and if they have, or what you might know about them. Like there's Bill C-13, which is like they created the offense of sharing images without consent. Do you think that law has really helped at all from where things were 12 years ago?
It could.
It could potentially, yeah.
It could potentially, but I know that there's a lot of... before COVID, I did a lot of speaking across Canada, and I know there's a lot of police officers that weren't even aware of it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it was passed in 2014. Crazy.
Yeah, so if somebody came and said, look, this image is being shared, and the police officer's not even aware that there's a law in place, then... Yeah, I don't feel like it was brought to the attention of all the people it needed to be in order to be enforced.
Right.
Because a lot of people just didn't know about it.
And then another law that passed, it was the Cyber Safety Act, and then in 2015 was replaced by the Intimate Images and Cyber Protection Act. This was in 2017, 2018 now. This is more of like a charter-proof framework. Like, are these... I have a feeling sometimes that as these laws passed, the technologies, as Matt was saying earlier, and everything else, we're almost moving too slowly on this stuff. Like, I mean, you mentioned earlier about Snapchat, and I think that's a great one to kind of mention, because now an image goes away. There's no evidence of it, almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you could deny, or you could...
But that platform must have that data.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm
That
sure they
platform must
probably
know.
keep that on a server or something like
Yeah.
that, Matt. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like this is an evolving thing. So how do we help today's teenagers and stuff? What are I mean, I know you've talked all across the country about this. Like, what do you see as like the absolute best things we can start doing for our own teenagers and our own kids growing up today?
Yeah, that's a big question. It's hard. It's hard to be a parent right now. It's hard to be a teenager right now. Things are moving very fast, so I don't really know the answer, but I know that we should be moving along with it in the social media age for protecting our children. We can only do so much to educate them and talk to them. I mean, it's our job as their parents, of course, but as community members, we have to hold people accountable, and I feel like there's a lot of that's not my business, I'm not getting involved. Empathy seems to be lacking because of the exposure to social media, that young people have so much exposure to horrible, horrific images and things that they're desensitized to the suffering of others. I find that empathy needs to come back somehow. And I don't know the answer to how, but I just know, like 2 years ago, my youngest daughter was stabbed. She's 14, she's 16 now. From a classmate.
Over what?
They had an argument over cheap perfume.
Oh my.
She accused my daughter that she's wearing cheap perfume. My daughter's very witty and quick, and she came back with, "That's not my Walmart perfume, that's yours." And she was so mad, she started telling people she was going to kill her.
Okay.
That was the day. The next day, she brought scissors to school. And when my daughter stepped off the school ground, she stabbed her multiple times in the back.
No way. Oh my God.
Yeah, and there's kids videoing it. And this comes back to the empathy piece. When I got there and the ambulance was coming and my daughter's covered in blood, the young boy who was there said, well, I would have got involved, but I don't do girl fights. So it wasn't a fight.
Yeah, no.
It was an attack and assault.
Yeah.
And thankfully, one of the kids stepped on the girl who was stabbing her, stepped on her wrist to stop her.
Oof, okay.
And that's the only way it wouldn't have been worse. But the lack
Did
of
this happen on
empathy,
school grounds or outside the school grounds? Where
as
it
soon
happened?
as she stepped off the school ground.
Right, they just waited. Yeah.
So the empathy piece, the way the kids were just nonchalant about it, like it was almost like they were getting a little dopamine hit from videoing it and like, oh my gosh, look at the blood and it's a girl fight. And I was dumbfounded. I didn't even know what to say to him when he said that to me. Like it's not a, yeah. So there was this disconnect, and yeah, it's very disheartening. So to me, I don't know empathy, and we can educate them all we want, but it comes back to these social media platforms.
Maybe you're on to something. Maybe we need to teach empathy in schools. Like maybe we need to have some sort of program where we focus a little bit harder on just treating people good and understanding other people's circumstance. Because I do feel like that's something that's lacking today, right? We're further and further removed from each other because we're just looking at each other through a window now on our phones almost, right? Maybe empathy is something we should be teaching. That's a cool idea.
I think that is a big factor. Is kids today that they're strapped to iPads and digital things, and they're not. I don't think they're necessarily making real human connections, and it allows. And adults can be the same, but it's just that's all they know. Their brains are still developing. They just simply don't connect them on a human level, and when you don't connect to people on a human level, it's easier to say things and do things that aren't great, right? That are just, I mean, Mike and I are sitting here, and I think I can speak for the both of us on here. This is not an easy topic to talk about, and I think we're both kind of like, whew, right? It's hard to sit and look at someone, a person who has lost a child, and then also we now just recently discovered that you had a child who was seriously assaulted.
Right, that could have been another loss.
Yeah, it could have been another loss. Right?
So
I mean, it's not easy to sit here and talk to somebody and ask these questions and talk about that. And equally, I'm sure it's not easy to talk about it.
No, it's not easy to talk about. But related to that, it just popped in my mind. Related to that is, I often say, those males that were there that night with Rehtaeh, if they didn't see her as an object to conquer, instead of a human being, and know who she was as a person, that wouldn't have happened. So somewhere along the line, they weren't taught about how to treat females.
Yep.
And even if the school would have taught them something, I know for sure that their parents didn't.
Yeah.
Because I know how we were treated by the parents afterwards. That kind of said, like, oh wow, like no wonder this is the way this male is. Look at the parents. So they just saw her as an object.
How do you feel schools can do a better job of protecting kids?
Oh, they absolutely have to hold those bullies accountable, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not holding, and that's still very prevalent. I hear that from people all the time. People reach out to me. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I know that if you go to a school, they're afraid to discipline a child. They're afraid to put them out of school for a few days. And the message is over and over and over again is that the bullies can bully. They can come on pink shirt day and wear their pink shirt, and they're the ones that are wearing the pink shirt. Right. And then the next day they go back to being horrible people.
It's my wife's a teacher, so I've often had these conversations about like how do you discipline kids, and I sit back, in our day suspension was a real suspension. You'd have to go home. The problem with it, though, and this is a perspective I just didn't see, right? And it took my wife as a teacher to explain to me. Suspending a kid and sending them home for a week is a vacation. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's not even really working, because it's like now it's like, maybe the parent has to stay home or whatever, but what if the kid's 15? The kid can just stay home by himself. You just said you don't have to go to school for a week.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's a reward, basically, for these types of kids, right?
Yep.
So it's like,
it's happened.
What can we do? Like, what can we do? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to it, right?
I don't know either, but I have actually said that to teachers before. You're sending my daughter home because she spoke back to you. She doesn't want to be there anyway.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be in school.
Yeah.
So that means I have to go and sit with her all day.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but I know when I was in school, I was afraid of the principal.
Yeah.
I was afraid to go to the principal's office.
Yep.
Because he's a badass. So I didn't want to go there.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not saying that you bring back the straps and everything else,
Yeah.
but I don't know. There's just the bullies seem to be get away with it.
I don't know. I think if we reframe how we teach kids, there's something good there. I saw there are some tools for families. One of them is needhelpnow.ca. Have you heard about that site?
I know them very well.
Yeah, and what could you tell us about them?
So Lorene Harper was very much involved in Need Help Now.
Yeah,
I met her a few times. She was a wonderful woman, and they also they have resources. They have, if any school was to reach out to them, they would send them all the resources they need. They give little comic books and books relatable about content, about social media, about being bullied. They're a great organization.
awesome. They say now, as I was looking at this topic, all preparation for you, Matt and I, right? And Chat GTP, full disclosure, helps me out these days, right? I got her that's basically my new friend now.
Yes.
I ask it everything. But it was saying other things you could do to teach your kids is encourage evidence saving, reporting, and not engaging with harassers or harassment. Right? Really, when you see this happening, make sure that those kids are talking about it, right? That negative behavior, right? When you see someone, even if you might not like a kid, but if they're getting picked on, if they're all alone, right? The chances of something bad happening to that person is exponentially higher than it is to the kid that's not getting picked on and is not alone, right? I think that there's a lot of confusion sometimes. When is it bullying or when is it teasing? Teaching your kids to respect people's boundaries socially as well as every other way probably be really, really important, and trying to teach them that at a young age, right? So it's really ingrained in them that they just don't disrespect people.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the bullies, I don't think we touched on this yet. Obviously, the bullies need help.
Yeah.
Because happy people that like themselves don't feel the need to do
out.
that. So there's something going on there that needs to be addressed more so than just the punitive level. There's more going on there.
I can't remember what actor said it. I think it was Denzel Washington or something like that, or George Clooney or something like that. But basically, he talked about punching down versus punching up. And the people who are happy and satisfied and fulfilled in their life tend not to punch down.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
So if someone's trying to someone's trying to do that, if someone's trying to punch you and kind of bring you down, they're probably trying to bring you down to their level because they feel miserable.
Yep. Exactly.
There's something to be said about that. If you're happy, you don't try to make other people unhappy.
No, you
I
don't.
truly believe that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So, so there's some work to be done, I guess, even on that side. And we've talked about that, about how aggressors can also be victims.
Yeah.
And the best way to stop aggressors are maybe to help them heal somehow, too.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Leah, sorry, right? I almost said Leia because you know what, I'm watching Star Wars here. And I do apologize, but about advocacy and healing, right?
Yeah.
You've done so many phenomenal things since you had to deal with this unfortunate circumstance, and I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I would even leave the house if it happened to me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know that must have been challenging, but what I really want to talk to people about here now, share with people today is you guys provide education, you guys provide awareness, prevention, wellness-focused community work, and Rehtaeh Parsons.ca.
Rehtaeh.
Oh my jeez.
You're saying that because the way it's spelled.
I can't read.
That's all right.
Rehtaeh Parsons.ca. So tell us a little bit about that organization, what you guys have done to help others.
So we're changing our focus on the society right now.
Okay.
But before that, before COVID, I did a lot of speaking engagements across Canada, in communities and schools and police departments all over the victim services. And I did a lot of that, and then that kind of came to a stop. But I did run grief retreats. So I started focusing on how can I help people heal. And I connected with a lot of parents. But these days, I've changed the focus that we're now helping people heal through animals and nature. So we bought 100 acres.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I sold the house in Cole Harbor, bought 100 acres just almost a year ago now.
Oh my gosh.
We just hit the road running.
So like an animal farm, eh?
That's what we're looking at right here. So, which is cool. So just a quick little blurb here. It says, our barnyard was created in loving memory of Rehtaeh Parsons and her deep love of animals. Rehtaeh found comfort and healing in the presence of animals, and this farm is our way of sharing that gift with others. I think that's beautiful.
Really cool.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you work in therapy and you're trying to help people. I mean, animals obviously can be a huge part to that. And, in a huge way, you're really living her kind of memory out because of her love for animals. So you're really putting everything together, I think, that can really help some people. Yeah.
Because I just believe that, especially for teens, like talk therapy isn't always the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they don't, first of all, they don't feel comfortable talking. And even if they do, like Rehtaeh didn't understand that it's a process. She's like, I just keep having to tell my story over and over again to this therapist and that therapist. And I don't get it. Like she didn't understand that therapy's a process. It takes time and it's layered. But if you put her with a horse or you put her in another setting, she would be feeling better and not even have to talk about anything. And whether she could just connect with the horse. And she would even say, like, there's horses she connected to that, you don't know what it felt like to have that horse's head on my shoulder and just breathing with me. Like our breath was the same. And that felt so good. So, I just feel like, even though I am a therapist, that talk therapy isn't necessarily the only way that people are going to heal. There's just so many ways to heal. And so I just feel like put someone in nature on a nature trail that we've created nature trails, put them in the animals and let the animals and them kind of do their thing and see what happens.
You ever hear that thing, getting up in the morning and walking out on the grass, supposed to be great for you?
No, I do it
and
all
looking
the time.
towards the sun and stuff. Yeah, I've been trying to do the sun one.
That's totally me.
Yeah, I've been trying to make sure you get out in the make sure make sure you wake up and just stare directly at the sun, Matt. That's what you do. No, you look out. You just kind of look up towards kind of wherever the sun is, even on a cloudy day, and just kind of it helps your kind of whole regulatory system.
Yes,
and stuff.
it soaks into you.
Actually, Andrew Huberman said that.
That's
on
right.
his podcast there recently. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool stuff that guy talks about.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, the neuroscience.
yeah, for sure. So, is there anything you would like to say to the parents out there that might be listening? I'm sure there's a lot of parents that listen to our show.
I think that parenting in this day and age is very difficult. I'm still in it. I'm still in it, and I just feel like for any type of stress, trauma, we all have it. We've all had traumas or just different degrees of traumas, but we all have it. That it's so easy to just get caught up in the go, and then you just burn out. And that taking care of yourself first, I feel that's because I went inward and did that and went on a healing journey, that I was able to be there for my children. Because I took care of my emotional needs. I took care of my PTSD episodes, and I had to really tune in to what was happening inside of me in order for me to show up the way I wanted to for my kids as they grew up in the shadow of the pain of Rehtaeh. I knew that they were going to have their own. I mean, one was 9 and one was 4. I knew that they were going to have their own struggles, so to be able to parent them, I really had to take care of myself. So I feel like we can't just go on autopilot. You're just going to burn out. Like trying to help your children and trying to find the answers and what's going to help them, but allowing them to be on their journey while you're supporting them by supporting yourself first. I feel like that's the key.
Do you feel that your kids help, like having other kids help kind of ground you and kind of and keep you in it? Because I can only just from my perspective trying to put myself in your situation, it would be like, just, I don't know. I don't know how I'd react. And I would think that it's like having other children, knowing that you have to be there for them, would help ground you and help you realize, like, I need to get through this.
No, it was the opposite at first.
The opposite. Okay.
I didn't want to be a parent anymore.
Wow.
I
Okay.
was like, that's it. I give up. I don't want a parent. She was my world. She's my everything. She changed my life.
Yeah.
I dove in. I did everything to be a really good mom to her. It didn't work out.
Right.
So she's not here. Like, I quit. I don't want to parent. I don't want to go to another school meeting. I don't want to get up. I make another lunch. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me to navigate that. Just to go to another concert, or everything would remind me of. So I just wanted to just put the whole parenting thing away. Like, that chapter is over, except I had 2 children looking at me for direction. So it was really hard because I didn't want to, but then I had to figure it out.
Yeah, you had to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very challenging because they had grief.
Yeah, well, obviously
Right?
they would have missed their sister.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was it was a hard time to get through that.
It's interesting to hear your perspective from that, because I only have one kid, and jokingly / not jokingly, I say to my wife, it's like, I'm okay with having one, because if anything ever happened to them, I'd be okay going to prison, kind of thing,
right.
Like, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear your perspective. That kind of, I guess it kind of pulled you in a different direction, kind of thing. Because if I would say if I had other kids, I would have to be more logical. It's hard to be logical.
Yeah, when your whole world just crashed.
Yeah.
And my sister even said to me one day, I didn't say anything to her, and she said to me one day, you got to stop thinking like that. I didn't say anything. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you are spiraling down and you got to stop. Because I was suicidal, and she knew it, and I didn't say it.
Yeah.
And she said, Leah, I know more than anyone what Rehtaeh meant to you. And I totally get why you're thinking the way you're thinking, but you can't go down that road.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I couldn't believe that she could tune in. I should have known, but she knew exactly what I was thinking.
And I guess that goes to a deeper topic of, like, mental health too. I mean, because you're a therapist, so, like, people think, okay, you're an expert in this field. You should know how to expertly heal yourself and things like that. And but just,
I think I'm a better therapist now because I actually did the work. I dove in the deepest places, the darkest places, to go in there and not just cover it over. Anybody could have easily said, well, no wonder she's, I could have started drinking or taking sleeping pills or, whatever. No wonder. It would have been justified. Everyone would have said, like, of course she's a drunk now or whatever. Yeah. But I chose not to go that way.
Right.
And and also I could have closed my heart down and said, that's it. I'm not going to. Yeah. But I said, I consciously made a choice to not go that way.
Yeah.
And I had to keep making the choice. But what a lot of people don't realize is that it's a rolling grief. It's not, you don't heal. You don't just heal and now you're healed. It's just things still come up. You still get hit with images. You wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, I miss my child. And it's just the rolling impact is something you have to choose to navigate every single day, that you're choosing again. Like, I'm choosing this kind of life. I'm choosing to show up this way. This is what I chose. Not that you can't feel what you feel, but this is what we're choosing.
I guess that kind of also leads me, like, this is a kind of a double-edged sword then. Obviously talking about it makes you think about it all the time, which is probably quite hurtful. But at the same time, talking about it and doing the work you're doing, potentially you don't know how many lives you're saving.
Yeah. People still message me today. The other day I got another message like, Rehtaeh saved my life because you told her story. I was able to tell mine. And I bottled this up for 30-something years of what happened to me. And now I don't have shame around it. Now I have a therapist, or I went and got help, or I told somebody, or like when people speak out against things that are not the easiest topics, or, not comfortable topics, it gives other people permission to speak out and tell their own story, to tell their own. That's shame. If you have shame, it just breeds in darkness.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Holy smokes, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just in closing, we're getting to our last call here now. So I just wanted to say, I'll say a couple quick things for crisis resources. There's Canada's 988 helpline. I mean, I just want people to know that these do exist. Kids Help Phone. The government of Canada has a 1988 suicide crisis helpline. And I think over everything, though, I guess we ask everybody this question at the end of our episodes. What's one piece of advice you were given in your lifetime that you'd like to share with us today?
Okay, whatever comes to mind. This what comes. My mother's words are coming to mind right now.
Sure, yeah.
And it's, "This too shall pass." She used to say that all the time, and I didn't understand what she meant. Yeah. But even if you're having a bad day, a bad moment, just knowing that that's a moment, that's a day, that this too shall pass, and to hold on to that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and sharing your story for many times over, and all the years many times you've shared your story. You probably helped way more people than you've ever realized.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
And cheers to Rehtaeh.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast, and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.